What's going on? I picked up the Deathwatch Codex, and I'm going to give you my first impressions I've already looked through it, so I don't know if this is a first impressions, but I want to let you know what I like and what I don't like, and then in the next video, we'll be going over a list idea, just something to think about if you're new to the Army, or you really like Primaris Marines. Something I hate about this book is pretty much consistent with all of them in the game, and that is Terminators. They're so expensive, and they don't do anything. Like, they're pretty worthless. Another thing I hate is the Watchmaster. There's no Primaris Watchmaster. You can take a Primaris Watch Captain, but one of the best stratagems of being able to change your chapter tactic or your strategy on who you reroll ones to wound against, it's 2 command points, but it's only 1 if you have a Watchmaster. So if you were going 100% Primaris Deathwatch, which I think is cool, you will not get a Watch Master. You can only get Watch Captains. So the first thing you're going to do is find an extra spear or something from a Custodes model. Convert a Primaris Captain, possibly from your Dark Imperium box set, holding that spear. Now you at least have a Primaris model, even though he won't have the Primaris stat line. So your army will still look correct. The Deathwatch veterans don't seem cheap enough compared to the Intercessor Primaris Marines. The only reason I picked this book up is because I think Primaris Marines are pretty cool. I think other Space Marines don't look that cool, especially not after, seeing them for so many years, and then nowadays with the Primaris. So I was just looking for the possibility of running a all Primaris army. This would be in the future, or a small detachment of Primaris allies for my AdMech or my Imperial Guard. Because now, as I'm working on the Imperial Guard, I already have the AdMech. I sold my Blood Angels, but if I had the Deathwatch, just a small, 30 guys, it just could add some variety into the games. And I don't care if it's like the best or most efficient or any of that, but I do care that it's not like terrible like the Terminators. I mean, you just can't spend that many points on a unit and then look at any other codex, any other book, any other unit in the game, any tank, and it just does not line up at all. Like, I don't even know what they're thinking. Like, it's like 50 points to add a Cyclone missile launcher to, where is he? A 31 point model. Cyclone missile launcher, 81 point model. He's a 2 wound guy, he's not even a character. And then he's gonna have to still buy a Storm Bolter. That's 4 points. So now he's 85 points. And I think he has to buy some kind of power weapon or power fist or something. So he's 90 or more points. It's ridiculously bad. 2 of them compared to a Lehman Russ. Toughness 8, 12 wounds, double shooting like 40 Punisher shots or 2d6 battle cannons versus 4 missiles from 4 wounds. Yeah, awful. Also, I think they suffer from moving and shooting. I don't know, I skipped right over them. Another unit that I'm not super impressed with, but I really love the look of, I don't love the look of the Terminators, but I love the look of the Reavers, the Primaris Reavers. And I wanted to buy this book because I kind of wanted an excuse to pick up some Primaris Reavers. They're so cool looking. It's like maybe the coolest Space Marine model that's come out in a while. And I don't know how they fit exactly. For command points, you could deep strike in intercessors or any Deathwatch unit or dreadnought, up to 3 of them for up to 3 command points, which is pretty solid. But the Reavers can just, they're the built-in deep strike. They do have naturally 2 attacks, 3 if you give them the knife. I was even debating on giving them the gun, or some with the gun, some with the knife. I'm not sure on that. I wish you could give the sergeant like a power sword or power axe or something. That's a little disappointing. I think the Primaris captains are a good value. The apothecary is a pretty good value. He's only 69 points. I think the captain with a mastercrafted bolt rifle and a power sword is like 98 points. So that's like 27 points less than a tech priest for the Adeptus Mechanicus. So you easily put 3 of those captains in your army. You can also take them with a power fist and plasma pistol and give you a little more punch from a character. He's got 5 attacks being a Primaris captain, so it's pretty good. He'll hit on 3s, revealing 1s. That's also good with a power fist. And I could see that being pretty useful. Obviously, you got to get him there, or he's gonna walk. Also, I never owned this. I haven't owned the Space Marine Codex. I got a little bit more interest in my YouTube channel, so I might start buying more of the books and just giving more of my thoughts on them, and not just like when I play against them, have a read through and let you guys know. But good lord, the psychic powers for the Space Marines, and I believe their psychic powers in here are the same from the Space Marine Codex. Wow, they are terrible. The Adeptus Mechanicus Codex has better psychic powers, and they have no psychic powers. These are awful, awful psychic powers. Like, I have a Thousand Suns army, so I know what really cool psychic powers look like. I have an Eldar army, which I've never played, but I own the book, and I know what really cool psychic powers look like. I have a Tyranid army. I know they have at least a few cool ones. I can't remember what they all do off the top of my head, but some of them are pretty good. These ones just seem ridiculously bad. Like, let's just look at this one here. Psychic Fortress. Pick a friendly unit with an 18. Until the start of your next psychic phase, pass morale. Kind of cool, but you're already a Space Marine, so you have really high leadership. And a lot of times you have 5-man units, so morale's not much of an issue. And you could take a 10-man unit. I will, or would, depending. But I still don't know if I want to just cast this on them to pass morale, because then if I have multiple 10-man units, they'll just shoot a different one. So, and then each time it suffers a mortal wound from a psychic power on a 4+, it's ignored. It can't even be just each time it suffers a mortal wound. They had to reduce its usefulness down to only against psychic mortal wounds. Or they couldn't even just give them a 5-up feel no pain or a 6-up feel no pain, like a Tyranid Catalyst or something. Just ridiculously bad. The Psychic Scourge, it's a roll-off to do D3 mortal wounds, and it's harder to cast than Smite. Good God, what were they thinking in the beginning of these books? The AdMech book I love, and they were like, I feel like the 2nd or 3rd book that came out. So anyway, you'll see in my next video, I do end up taking some of the librarians, because I think a Smite or whatever is going to help you. But, I think I'd be quick to drop them and break my all Primaris army just to get rid of those guys for literally just anything else. But the Corvus Blackstar is freaking awesome visually. It is a model I always pick up at the game store and look at. I never see anybody playing with them. They're in here, so I was excited to pick up this book to read that thing. Pretty disappointed with it. It flies around and it has guns that all are going to be a -1 to hit. I'm usually okay with that in other armies, but a lot of times I feel like they have something to, like maybe an auto hit weapon option if they don't want to take the -1, or they'll have a +1 against like non-flyers to balance the -1, so they're still hitting. This one just, It has like a reroll ones to hit if you fly, I believe. And I don't know. It seems like you're... So anyway, in the Primaris army, this vehicle cannot take Primaris Marines with it. It can, however, take motorcycles. So that's cool. But you're paying points for its transport capacity. So I don't know if this is the right choice for an all Primaris Deathwatch army. The Dreadnought, he's got like 13 wounds, but he's got a chart that he gets worse on, whereas other Dreadnoughts don't. I'm not sure about that. He's got a lot of shots, a lot of small arm fire, but your Deathwatch Intercessor Marines or anything with the special ammunition are going to really handle that role pretty well, I think. Their small arms fire, it has higher AP, good range, really high AP at short range. So it's going to clear a lot of those troops that maybe the Gatling guns and things that the Dreadnought have aren't necessary. Also, you are not getting the special ammunition on the Dreadnought. You also don't get special ammunition on the flying Primaris Marines. I believe they're called Interceptors. They only have 6 shots. Maybe it would have been too strong. Maybe they were worried about an army of all of them. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think they could have had it. If they're mixed into your unit, you can fall back and still shoot, which I think is a big waste of points. Like, I know this is shocking. Being able to fall back and shoot is really cool, but when you start putting those flying guys in your units are already expensive, and they're like a 50-point guy. It's not worth it, because you're already paying 1 point each Marine for the special ammunition bolt pistol. So everybody in your army is like 1 point higher because they're buying their bolt pistols, and then they're also buying their rifles or bolt guns. So that's where you're paying for the special ammunition. So falling back and shooting, yeah, it's going to be double the shots, but you're still Space Marines, and Space Marines with 2 wounds and 2 attacks. So you're effectively like, twice as good in combat. Unfortunately, I don't believe the Sergeant can have a power sword or anything, which would be nice. Let's double check that real quick, because if you can, I'd rather just give him a power sword than take the flying guy to retreat and still shoot. No, it does not look like it. Oh wait, Intercessor Sergeant may either replace their bolt rifle with a chainsword or power sword, or take a chainsword or power sword. Oh, I didn't see that before. Don't take the flying guy to fall back and shoot. Just take an extra 4-point power sword, put it on that guy. He's got like 3 attacks in combat. It's totally just about as good as most other people's warlords, in regular human-sized armies. And all your guys with pistols have special ammunition in the pistols, so they'll be shooting like AP2 pistols in hand-to-hand combat. It's fine. If you want to take a bunch of the plasma gun guys, Hellblasters, maybe consider the being able to fall back and shoot those guys. But I believe, no, don't do it. I'd only maybe even take 1 or 2 of those plasma gun guys, the Hellblasters, in the unit. But that's more as just to give you that extra punch. The Hellblasters also have the bolt pistol, so they can still shoot when they're in hand-to-hand combat with their bolt pistol. Strength 4, AP2. It's fine. And they're paying for it. So falling back to shoot your rifles and never shoot your pistols in a 5-man squad, I mean, it's only 5 points, but, I don't know. I just take the power sword. Or at least the chain sword. So I think that's just 1 point. I think I take the power sword, because it would be pretty cool seeing all your guys out there with a sword. So pretty disappointed with the Corvus Black Star. That is the model that I wanted to own. I kind of wanted a couple of them, or at least one or two, to take with my AdMech to give them a flyer. It's my favorite looking one outside of the Necron flyer. Obviously, can't take that, but I still haven't really worked much on that. I'll get back to that, play with the color scheme. I've been having a good time painting the Imperial Guard. So, the Primaris Marine Deathwatch Army, in my opinion, and I am a Grandmaster 40k champion of the world, maybe universe, on YouTube. I think it's going to be an infantry army, and it's kind of an infantry horde. Like, I've been doing some list building, and you can have like 6 characters and like 50 or 60 Marines, Primaris Marines, like 50 or 60 of them. 60, let's see, every 10 is, if you give 2 grenade launchers, I'm not even sure if that's worth it, because the special ammunition is pretty good. So that'll save you 2 points. But anyway, they're 20 points a guy, so 10 of them's 200. So it's 202 with 2 grenade launchers in the unit. And that would give you 2 strength 6, minus 1 D3 damage shots, which I'm all about that strength 6, minus 1 D3 with the arc rifles and the AdMech, but they don't have special ammunition like these guys. So, a couple things I really like are the intercessor squads. Like, freaking awesome. The special issue ammunition looks like pretty powerful. I think you're going to need command points. You could easily, what do you get, 5 now for a battalion? 15, 18. You could easily start with 18 command points with this army. If you don't take librarians and you take chaplains instead, you can save some more points there. But, you know, whatever. An all Primaris army and still have 16 command points. I think you're going to want that Watchmaster guy, though, just so you can do that switching your strategy for 1 command point instead of 2. There's a really cool Warlord trait, which everybody seems to be talking like it's not cool, but all they play is like nonsense ITC soup armies. So obviously they can't see how other things might be useful other than the absolute pinnacle. But nowhere to hide is your Warlord trait in here. At the start of each of your shooting phases, pick 1 enemy unit anywhere on the battlefield. For the duration of the phase, that unit does not receive cover against attacks made by Deathwatch units that are within 6 of your Warlord. That is pretty cool, because your Warlord could be in the back with 2 10-man intercessor squads, potentially with heavy plasma incinerators. But what I would give them, and this I want to make sure I have the name exactly right, so if you don't have the book, you can tell your friends you heard it from me. The Stalker Bolt Rifle. 36-inch range, heavy 1, strength 4, AP 2, 1 damage. What? That's awesome. It's like 4 points, I think. The Stalker. Sorry, I don't have notes. It's 3 points, so it's 2 more points than what you're already going to pay for the other bolt rifle. It doesn't rapid fire. It takes a -1 if it moves and shoots. But with special ammunition, you take Vengeance round, -6 inches, .30-inch range, heavy, AP 3, and ignores cover, which essentially is making it AP 2. I was thinking Kraken Bolt, which would add 6, but the maximum AP on that is to 2, which it already has AP 2. Or you could just hit on 2s. So say you hit the target on 2s. So say you had 20 guys shooting. If they go dragon fire, 20 shots, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, strength 4, AP 2, and ignores cover, which essentially is like AP 3. Pretty cool. Or 20 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, always wounds on a 2, rerolling 1s in this army against your specified targets, -2, essentially -3 because you ignore cover. So they put a unit of troops in a building, and all your units around, and this is, I think this one's good for your units maybe more in the back, especially if you have like a high ground position. Seems pretty cool. Also, you can give a captain a master-crafted stalker, which will give you, well, I'm not, master-crafted stalker bolt rifle. Heavy 36, heavy 1, 36 range, strength 4, -2, damage 2. There's a, I believe it was a relic. We'll have to double check. There is a relic, Bane Bolts of Erexia. Add 1 to the damage of any special issue ammunition fired by the bearer. In addition, for each roll of a 6 made for any special issue, suffers a mortal wound. So your leader will be shooting that gun on 2s, rerolling 1s, possibly wounding on 2s, fishing for 6s for a mortal. It's only 1 shot, but it's a AP 2 damage 3 or AP 3 damage 3. Kind of cool, just for like turning your little watch captain who's sitting in the back with you know, just upgrading his gun. And I mean, I'm not saying that's the best thing to do, I don't know, but a guy just putting out AP 3 shots with damage 3, yeah, it's only 1 shot, but I think that could get kind of irritating. I think you could do some work on that. Overall, the stratagems are pretty cool. A lot of them are very specific towards certain Xeno races, which is cool. A good flavor there. Some of them, like, I feel like they should have snipers, and Primaris don't have snipers yet. So if you've been paying attention at all to Age of Sigmar, the Stormcast Eternals, who are like their Space Marines in Age of Sigmar, like the poster child, they get tons of new releases, which has pretty much been the case for Space Marines in 40k. But just right now, while they're cranking out all this new stuff, all these new codexes, new character models, new Primaris upgrade sprues or whatever, they haven't got around to the next wave of Primaris units that are going to come out. Just look at the Stormcast Eternals and AOS. They have like 3 different armies all within the same army now. So the next wave of Primaris Marines is going to be cool. Obviously, they're going to get more vehicles. Obviously, they're going to get access to more unit types, possibly like Devastators that aren't just plasma gun guys. You know, so it's not a bad place to be if you got this book. You got your Dark Imperium set. You and your buddy each bought the Dark Imperium. You got double Primaris. He got double Nurgle. You got the Deathwatch book. Now you got 1,000 points already, if not a little more, because these guys are expensive. You could fit in a Dreadnought. I don't know if he fits in like the tank, the repulsor. I don't think it's anti-tank enough to be worth taking for the Deathwatch Primaris, because they're already doing a lot of work with small arms fire. You don't need a lot more small arms fire that aren't even benefiting from the basically special rules of this book. So I consider that before you do it. That being said, like a Land Raider Redeemer Crusader. Land Raider Crusader with special issue ammunition would be pretty cool. A Land Raider Crusader without it that can't take Primaris Marines, I'm not going to take it in this army. You know, I like fielding it sometimes when I was playing Blood Angels, but I sold them, so I guess I didn't like it that much. I still have the Land Raiders, though. I think this army would be strong to ally. You know, take like 30 intercessors and a couple characters and just let their bolt guns do punch above their weight. And you got all this other stuff that your opponent's like, well, do I try to whittle down these big units or a bunch of 5-man units of Marines that are now all bunkered up and put an AP2 on me? Do I shoot their tanks, you know? Like, the problem, though, with the Primaris army is they don't really have the punch to kill vehicles, I don't believe. Unless you take the Hellblaster squads, which are expensive, people know they're good, you're going to get targeted, and you don't have the banner guy that, like, the Dark Angels curl up around and cry themselves to sleep next to. So when yours die, they don't shoot again like everybody else's. Yours just die. And they're 1 point more expensive because they paid for their bolt pistol. So, I don't know if they're the right choice. I've seen some lists floating around where people are talking about allying in a Dark Angels detachment, taking Hellblasters that are Dark Angel Hellblasters. And that could be pretty cool if you like Dark Angels. I don't particularly like them. They're just not my style, I guess. I don't know. They don't catch my eye. The robes are cool, though. Part of me is wondering, too, did I pick up this book because should be painting my Ulfway Eldar army that I started a little bit ago? I don't know. So, overall, I think this is worth picking up, especially if you like the unit. If you want to do some cool stuff with your Primaris Marines, I'd go here. Unless you're focusing all on Hellblasters, then probably like Dark Angels. Anybody who takes the Ancient is probably going to be a little more powerful for you. Ultramarines or Dark Angels or whatever. The Reavers benefiting from the special issue ammunition. Cool. They can't get quite close enough to use the really cool one the first turn they come out because they have to be more than 9 away, and it only works at, I think, would give them, I don't know, whatever it was. They could have cool pistols, though, and a decent amount of attacks. I think it's pretty good. I don't know if I would ever take a Terminator squad, but I don't know if I'd ever do that in any army at this point. Hopefully those will get addressed. I don't know if lowering the points on them or raising the stats is, you know, make them 3 wounds, maybe. I don't know. They're way too point costly, especially when you got things like, you know, little guns that on 6s to wound do 2 damage, and you roll 1/1 and your guy's dead. So pick up the Deathwatch Codex. Let me know if you like this review. I'm going to go over a list. Talk to you soon.